I'm going to just brief you how SUPERMICRO can help in deploying OpenStack as a complete total solution aiming at infrastructure as a service. Now, before we proceed further, how many of you are using SUPERMICRO or know about SUPERMICRO? Can I get a show of hands, please? So not many. So let me ask you this question. Do you guys know where SUPERMICRO is based or where we were founded at? Are we an Indian company, a Chinese company, a Taiwanese company, an American company? What is SUPERMICRO? Okay, so actually SUPERMICRO is an American company. Our founders are Taiwanese, but SUPERMICRO was founded in USA, in the Silicon Valley. So we are an American company, and we have our presence in more than 80 countries right now. So we are a global company, and we have our reach in each and every segment of the world. So we have been in operations in the past 22 years. And since 22 years, we have been in profit. So there's a reason behind that, why our company is growing year on year and why we are in profit for the past 22 years. And I'll show you that in the next slide. So we have all in-house deployment, design, technical support teams, production. So SUPERMICRO does everything by themselves. So that is our key selling points and how we are able to come out with these great technology innovations. So our core points lies in time to market and energy efficient service. Now, as I was talking about, we have over 22 years of profitability. So this is the reason why we have been growing in a very organic manner. So first we started by making components such as motherboards, power supply as a separate parts. And once we expertised in that field, we started making high-end computing servers such as our twin solutions, our GPU solutions. We also made our blade solutions and so on and so forth. And once a milestone was achieved in making a highly innovative, high-performance computing platform, we moved towards the total solution domain, where we started giving end-to-end total solution made before OpenStack, made before VMware, made before your high-performance computing environment, may just be a storage or Hadoop cluster. So we have now in-house expertise to give you a complete end-to-end total solution depending on your requirement. So that is the key strong point of SUPERMICRO, and that's the reason why we have been growing and have been able to sustain and be in profit for the last 22 years, ever since its foundation. Now let's move to OpenStack. We'll focus more on that. And if there are any questions, please feel free to ask me. Let's try to make this a very interactive session. So we have OpenStack Cloud Solution. So SUPERMICRO is basically a very vendor-neutral company. We support all the software vendors out there. So we don't have any software of our own. So we are having all this open source platforms which we are trying to combine with our hardware, validate that, and give you an end-to-end total solutions. So we have our solutions with Red Hat OpenStack. We also do Mirantis OpenStack, and also we have solutions with Canonical. So we have all this choice of distributions where customer is free to choose which distribution they want to go for and what is the hardware requirement. So we have all this in-house expertise. So how are SUPERMICRO OpenStack solutions deployed? So we have a fully validated hardware turnkey solutions, which gives you a total peace of mind and serviceability. We also have latest NVMe solutions. All of you must be familiar with NVMe. It's the next generation of storage technology. SUPERMICRO is a pioneer in that as well. We have over 60 different server SKUs which support NVMe, and utilizing those server SKUs, we have put in our OpenStack solution to maximize the performance of the entire deployment. Also, we have all the solutions directly certified by our OpenStack partners, which gives us a total peace of mind, and also we provide global service and support. So in this presentation, we are more and more concentrating on the Mirantis OpenStack. It's not possible to go over Red Hat Canonical, but we'll try to cover more on the Mirantis OpenStack deployment model and see what type of solutions and what are the technical details of these solutions. So Mirantis OpenStack. So first of all, let's have a small brief about OpenStack. OpenStack is, as it is a very complex a model. It has so many different components for compute, storage, networking, telemetry, imaging, etc. Now you need to have the expertise and skills to deploy OpenStack, and that is something which is scarce in the market today. And on top of this, to make it even more complex, you need to also have a validated hardware infrastructure to be able to give you a complete production environment. And then we have the different graphical user interfaces of OpenStack, which again needs to be deployed. We have different application libraries such as Murano and many more. And on top of that, we have the developer who's trying to utilize all this plugins to make his deployment and development quicker and faster. Now, how do we do and manage all this? And that is where Mirantis comes into picture. Mirantis has a deployment engine called Fuel, and which makes the deployment, managing and configuring the entire OpenStack environment simpler as well as easier. Any questions so far? So let's go to the next slide. So what does Fuel offer? Fuel offers an easy to configure, deploy, and management graphical user interface. Wherever you plug in a compute node, it is automatically detected, and you can assign the various roles to it. Also, it enables you easy deployment as well as management facility. And also now Mirantis has included the Murano application library, where you have the different applications. It's just like our app store. You choose the application what you want, click on it, install, and Mirantis will take care of it. And it's ready to run and be utilized by your developers. So we can easily create catalogs for different applications, deploy the applications. Also, there's a possibility to create your own applications and put it in the Murano catalog, so it can be easily be managed from there. And also, we can automatically manage the different applications which are there in the Murano catalog by using the entire Mirantis graphical user interface. So to go with this entire portfolio, we have different solutions to cater the need of our customers. So we have solutions where we have Mirantis. We use Ceph as a storage. If you don't need Ceph, we also have solutions where we have Nexenta. We also use the inbuilt OpenStack storage deployment such as Glance and Sift. For networking, we use Cumulus. We also use Pluribus. So we have different options depending on what is required for your medium DevOps. If you want medium DevOps with a high quality of service, we have solutions and reference architectures for that. We also have solutions for surveillance appliance, for very high density and very high quality of service in case you want to have a very high dense rack. If you have a rack space constraint, then we have a highly dense solutions which can go with the entire solution depending on the requirement. Any questions anyone has?
What does quality of service mean?
The quality of service is how do you keep your entire deployment up and running. So that is the quality of service. So we have a deployment, but how do you make sure that your service is running 99% of the time? That means you need to have redundancy. You need to have high availability configuration to make that happen. So what are we using in our solution? So as you see, Supermicro is predominantly a hardware vendor. We manufacture and design server hardware. Not only servers, we also make storage and switches. And these are what are used in our solutions. So for the nodes, such as the compute, controller, and storage nodes, we're all using Supermicro hardware. The OpenStack distribution here, this talk is especially targeted towards the Mirantis OpenStack, so we are using the Mirantis distribution over here. for the switches, so we have different options. We have switches from Supermicro, which we are using in our solution. Now, if your requirement is different, you need a higher quality of service, then we go with the pluribus switches. Or we also go with Cumulus Fit for software-defined networking. So we have also partnership with Arista and many other switch vendors, and we can all incorporate that in our entire solution portfolio to give what exactly is needed. Then on the storage, again, if you see, we have again our hardware, our own hardware, but we can give you storage solutions with Nexenta. We can also give you storage solutions with Ceph. And if you don't want either of them, we can have the inbuilt OpenStack storage management such as Swift as well as Glance. So here's a reference architecture, what we have, which we have made and also deployed for a medium-sized DevOps, which has 120 cores, 1280 GB of RAM, and provides you with 144 terabytes of total storage. So what we have done here, we have used our existing server portfolio, we have consolidated it, picked the best matching servers, and built this reference architecture. Because we have servers which can cater to every demand, and they can go from a single core all the way up to 44 cores. So for the controller node, we have used one of our most popular servers, our WIO servers. This is a single processor server, and it is used in the controller node. Then for the fuel cell is basically used for the Mirantis open source deployment. Again, we have used our 1U server in here. Then to go with our compute nodes, we have used one of our most high-performing, highly versatile ultra platforms. These have gone to make the controller nodes. And for the storage nodes, we have a big line of storage servers, all pre-validated, pre-configured, and we have utilized that to make a part of this solution. Now for the switches part, if you see, we also have our switches, which are basically bare metal switches. So these switches are basically with 10G SFP plus ports. They are bare metal switches. They have the ONI environment installed. That means you can have your own SGN software installed on the switch. But currently, we are working with Cumulus, and we support Cumulus on this switch. So this is why we have used Cumulus on this bare metal switch for SDN capability. And we also have 1G switches, which are basically used for IPMI PXE as well as user network. So I have a detailed diagram on the next slide where we can see further on the details. So if you see, these are the use cases. So the network switches are used for 1G networking, IPMI for data, as well as for management. Then we have the fuel cell, we have the controller cluster, compute cluster, and the storage as we spoke in the previous slide. Now going further, this is how the total network topology looks like. So what can Supermicro do? Here, if you see at the network, this is completely a rack solution. Everything cabled, managed, everything done. Not only this, if you have some specific requirements, Supermicro builds custom manuals for that, telling exactly which server is connected to the which port of the networking switch. So everything is pre-deployed, pre-configured, ready to switch, and that is where the infrastructure as a service comes in. What you have to do, get the rack, plug into your data center, put the power, you're up and running. You just need to connect the switches, the top of the rack switches, to your edge switches or your core switches, and you're connected to the rest of the network. Yes?
This is a fixed configuration that you propose, for example, I see F0, F1, F4, F5, and if the operator wants to have redundancy on port level, you can offer that? Or
of course, we can offer that. So this is just a reference architecture for someone who wants to build an OpenStack deployment, but you already have the expertise, you know what you need, what are your use cases. You could also tell us, I want this. I want to have redundancy at my switch level. I need to have redundancy also at the rack level. That's also possible. We have deployments where they have redundancy at the rack level as well. So we are able to provide you with that solution as well. So this is another deployment model what we have used for deploying a surveillance system where the user wanted to connect up to up to 70 to 100 surveillance IP cameras to the network. So we developed a solution for them. And if you see at the solution, there's something different here. Does anyone know what is the difference from the previous reference architecture we have? So most of the things are the same. We are using our WIO servers again for the controller nodes. We use fuel cell for the controller, WIO server again for the fuel cell. But there are actually two main differences. We have consolidated the whole solution. If you see here, what we have used? We've used our microcloud, which is a highly dense computing platform, which gives you in a 3U form factor up to 8 nodes. And this can go up to 12 nodes depending on what your requirements are. So we have consolidated the whole solution into just 15U. And this can be further consolidated to 10U if you go with our blade computing servers. This is how we can deploy the servers depending on what your requirements are, what you need. So taking this point into account, one important point to point out is we are an open hardware company. We don't have any vendor lock-ins. Our hardware is completely redeployable. Today you want to use this for Mirantis OpenStack. Tomorrow, after a year, you say, I don't want OpenStack anymore. I want to use this for something else. Feel free to do so. It's completely unlocked. Another thing, what we have done in this architecture is we have not used Ceph as a storage. We have used OpenStack Glance to provide the storage capability. So that is why we just have a single storage server here, and that too with 72 disks, giving you up to 80 terabytes of total storage capacity. So here we're talking about some time back about the deployments of single multiple racks for redundancy and higher quality of service. So we also have a single rack, top of the rack cluster model, and this is something with dual rack where we have multiple racks having different configurations for redundancy. Also, we have a wide range of components which are all certified. Now, this is our reference architecture. You are always free to go with the reference architecture and have it as your own POC cluster. But in case you want to build your own OpenStack environment, we have a list of certified components which have been certified by Mirantis, and they can fit into different deployment models. So for example, we have chosen here some of the server nodes for compute as well as storage, and also we have used the networking options, and these go into the DevOps for medium configuration with Cumulus as for SDN and Cinder for storage. So these are the models what we have. Now, these are just not the list of servers. Now, if you want some other servers to be used, we have the capability to have it certified and validated in a very short period of time and give you the solution what you want. So that is our capability because we have very strong engineering team behind everything. SUPERMICRO is, we have around 3,000 employees all over the world, and more than 60% of those are all in our R&D and engineering field. And that's why we are able to come out with such strong products. Now we have appliance configurations as well. So we have a completely racked OpenStack deployment model, which we were talking before, which can be completely deployed depending on your requirement. So we have something which can go starting with 240 VMs going all the way to 1000 VMs. And how we have chosen these VM profiles is we use 4 vCPUs with 8 GB of memory. And that's how we come to the conclusion of 240 VMs per rack. Now this is a great configuration to start with as well, the one here, the MTAP01. So basically this can be a great POC deployment model in case you're thinking of having a new OpenStack deployment. This is a great model to go for. Why? Because it just has 5 compute nodes and 3 storage nodes, and it has a lot of space inside the rack to be able to add additional nodes. Now you might be having the question, if I add additional nodes, who will help me configure it? Because now Supermicro ships this whole rack as a pre-configured system. So you just have to plug in the power, connect to your switches, and you're up and running. But now if you want to add additional nodes, how do you do that? Yes?
What is used as storage backends? Only disk for caching, or how about speed for the?
Again, it will depend on what is the requirement. So for disk for caching, we use NVMe, and also we also use it with SSD. But it will all depend what kind of storage application you're looking at. If you need something with very fast storage, then we have solutions which go with our NVMe drives. Now, if you add more nodes, and how to grow the stack is just you plug in the nodes, connect to your top of the rack network switch. What will Mirantis do? Because Mirantis Fuel is a very intelligent device. It will recognize the servers which are connected to your switches by the MAC addresses, and once it recognizes it, it will give you an option to tell it what kind of appliance you want it to go for. Is it your compute server or your storage server? And that's the way you can easily grow your OpenStack environment. Any questions? Moving forward, so we also have something for Red Hat storage. Scalable, flexible, everyone wants it, and Red Hat storage also perfectly fits that requirement. So we also have a complete rack deployment, reference models, architectures, completely validated by Red Hat and also ready to deploy. We also do rack level deployment for Red Hat storage as well. So everything is fully tested, validated with complete service and support, everything from Supermicro. Similar to our R series, we also have something called as a C series, basically for Ceph deployment. So if your requirement is only for Ceph storage servers, we also have it. It's basically, we also have different architectures, role-specific server models, depending on the capacity, applications, and requirements. We have different architectures which can fit what you're looking for. Everything is again provided as a part of our rack solution also. So complete solutions can be again shipped to you on as part of the rack deployment. And again, it's completely certified and by Ceph. Now, how can Supermicro help is the question. We spoke about all this. We also spoke some points how we can help. But in case you don't want the rack deployment to be at the Supermicro factory, we can also do rack deployment at your premises. So we have dedicated teams for that who do on-site rack deployments, who do everything, and to make your server up and running. We also have teams for that. We have a big team for OpenStack. All the solutions and reference architecture, what we have showed you, is not something we came out with a month or two of work. It took us more than 6 months to 1 year to test it, validate it, and come out with these solutions so as to give you a total peace of mind, highest performance, and also the best value for your investment. We provide a partnership with key component vendors. So as you could see, we are a very vendor neutral company. We have partnership with every vendor. We don't have any preferred vendors or homegrown distributions. And we support the entire portfolio of solutions what we have. So, any questions here? So if you go with this, we'll give you all the benefit what Supermicro has to offer, and that is not it. It doesn't stop here. We give you a lot of advantages when you choose Supermicro. We are a very highly innovative company. Our CEO and founder, he himself is an engineer, and for the past 22 years, he's been looking at the various development, R&D, and engineering activities which is going currently in the company. We're always first to market the product we have. The latest innovations and technology are always first to launch by Supermicro. So what it means is, not only you have early access to the latest technology, but also helps you to have your servers in deployment for a longer period of time, acting as an investment protection. Supermicro gives you the best value for your money. We give you the highest performance per dollar, per watt and per square feet. So these are the key selling points of Supermicro. If you compare Supermicro with some of the competitors, we might be same price, or sometimes our prices are even more. That means we are not one of the cheapest companies to go for. But if you compare these three criteria, the performance per watt, per dollar, per square feet, we are definitely the cheapest. And on top of that, all these things come with the highest quality and reliability. Our RMA rate is less than 0.5%. So that means every 200 servers what we make, one server is either returned due to software issues or hardware failure. So that means the quality standard of our servers are so high. We also have worldwide service support, and also we have something configured to order. As I was thinking, all the solutions can be configured and customized depending on your requirements. So we don't have any lock-ins, no specific hardware configuration. Customer says what he wants and he gets what he wants. And that's how Supermicro motto is. So please take a look at the solutions. All the solutions are available now. We are currently shipping. And if you have any questions, or if you have some new deployment opportunities, you need POC lab environment, please get in touch with me and I can help you arrange the same. Any questions anyone has? Yes. If not, thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the show.